After a couple weeks away, we are back, and we are back for a really good reason. This is Inside LAFC, the Max and Vince podcast with special guest
Connor Kalopsis.
Excuse me, I wasn't do the intros.
Oh. Pew, pew, pew.
I've been practicing Connor Kalopsis.
Well, we haven't been here very long, so why don't we just start again? Start from the top. No, it's not.
No, it's not. Sorry, that was a joke. Once we get started, we don't stop. That's a promise from us to you.
That's also a life lesson, people.
It is.
You don't ever stop.
You don't overstop. Don't stop till you get enough. We will be speaking to the new head coach of LAFC here shortly. Steve Cherundolo will be here, and we'll discuss as much as we can. But we're going to have a little discussion about this new appointment as it does appear LAFC's season is underway. Before I do that, I wish a happy New Year. How was your New Year's, gentlemen?
Does Canada celebrate New Year? And when do they do it? Because I know Thanksgiving's on a different day, so I thought...
We're actually just a year behind.
Oh, so it's 2021
yeah,
for you?
Technically, that's how we do it.
You know what? I've been to the future. It's not a good year.
Uh-oh.
No, it is. Yeah. It's going to be 2022 is going to be incredible.
No, but he's back in 2021 because Canada.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The conversion.
You guys had a conversation and left me out.
Well, was your New Year's good, Max?
It was good. Can I have an interesting story? I want to talk to my friend Adnan Berg, who I worked with at ESPN. He's Canadian and he's a Muslim. So at ESPN, if you work holidays, you get an extra day off to your 2 weeks. Sure. So as a Canadian, he was happy to work on Thanksgiving. As a Muslim, he was happy to work on Christmas. So he would accrue these days. I go, I'm going here, 3-week vacay.
Smart.
Strong.
Yeah.
Because think about it, Thanksgiving is 2 days. And Christmas,
Connor's
boom.
like, I've never had a real job. So he's like, I take time off all the time.
Yeah, this is my time off.
Yeah, well, I can tell.
Yeah, I'm having a blast.
Well, it's been a great day. We are here in the locker room of...
This is my first time here.
What is your first...
Yeah, what is your
I've never
stepped the sounds.
Yeah, what is your take of the LAFC locker room? Not a lot of people get to be in here, although people have taken tours through here. So what's your take?
Did you guys notice there's a big LAFC sign on the ceiling?
There is.
No, I don't notice it enough times. I know it's there, but it's really quite spectacular.
I will say the difference
makes
between...
you think they better never change that crest because that's going to be hard to get
They're
down.
not changing that crest.
Well, the difference between me and you guys, one, age, and then two...
You keep saying that.
Two would be, I started as like a super fan. Like I was a fan from the get-go. I wasn't doing media, wasn't doing anything about this club. So being in here, it's a little surreal. Gotta admit.
Are you saying Max and I are a little too jaded to be in here?
A little bit. I mean,
Okay.
come on now.
It won't be the last
cool.
appearance here.
You get desensitized to how awesome this is.
It's
so
true.
for
You know they
fans
have
here,
numbers on the locker so you can see whose locker
pretty
is who.
sick.
Yeah.
This is pretty sick.
I do. Okay, I will say whenever I come in here, I do get a kick out of looking who sits next to who and if there's any like reason for it. Because some pairings are like, I wouldn't imagine they sit next to each other.
I like to look at the toiletries, which everyone has.
Yeah, I like to look at the cologne.
I like the Jordan Harvey Murillo combo.
Murillo's next to...
What do you think those conversations are like?
Carlos is next to Pancho.
What's up?
Just fist bump.
Just a sup.
That's it.
And then
Well, I tried to ask you about your New Year's. You guys skated right off over that. I hope everyone had a happy
I cooked
New
at
Year.
home and stayed safe.
I slept.
Let me say this. 2022 is going to be fantastic, and you put all the time in for 2 years. Following this team and in every walk of life is going to be fantastic. Getting back to normal.
You know what?
I promise it.
Me and my family, we don't like staying up too late, so we'll watch like the East Coast New Year's Eve ball drop at 9, and then like be in bed by 9:30. So it's great.
And you're the youngest one, and that's what old people do. And we both stay past midnight. Although I think this is the last year I'm staying past midnight because I was like you. I was like, I'm getting kind of tired. Unless I have an actual plan.
I'm not gonna lie. 11:30, I was wired, and I'm like, I'm gonna make it to midnight. This is great. 12:07, I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I was right out.
That's when you do the heavy drinking at 12:07.
Oh yeah, I housed a bottle of champagne to myself and
Nice.
Should I start doing that?
No,
you're not old enough. We can't.
Not old enough.
Okay.
I haven't drank in a few days either, so I'm very proud of myself. You could see about my wherewithal. So let's talk about Steve Cherundolo because we're going to talk to him in a little bit.
It's a big reason why we think 2022 is going to be.
It's a big reason. And look, this is it. Everyone was talking about, where's the coach? What's going to happen? We're behind all these other clubs. They've all mentioned it. Well, now we know with the appointment of Steve Cherundolo, who was in-house, and look, we spoke to John Thorrington. He said it was a comprehensive coach search, and I believe him. And he said, look, we didn't have to go to these coaches to get them interested, and they were interested from the jump. They would reach out to me. So he didn't cut any corners. But in many instances, the best option is here in your backyard. And you would have to think that Steve Cherundolo, when he came over last year, was brought to possibly be a candidate. If not be a candidate, maybe not in 2022, but soon. And it happened now. But to answer the questions, why are we behind it? What we have learned is that he has been involved in everything they have done. So that's a positive. For those concerns there, we certainly have that. And it's a guy who comes with, and Connor, your initial thought, because we did a YouTube
Yeah, where did
video.
you land on this? Because we said that no matter what, if they would have hired Steve the day after Bob was let go, people would have been up in arms. Instead, they actually do their due diligence, and people are still up in arms. So where do you fall? You're in one camp or the other. There's no middle ground.
Well, I will say I know that this deal was most likely done prior to the announcement. So this is all just.
Does that give you some comfort?
Yeah, I mean it's PR, right? I'm not gonna be too hard on when it was announced, but my initial thoughts.
You're in a minority in that.
my thoughts on Cherundolo, though. I mean,
you mean the thing that matters? See, everyone wants to talk about when it was announced, but let's talk about whether it's the right or wrong guy. What's your thoughts on that?
People say, experience, head coaching experience. I mean, we've learned about it years in Germany. Years in Germany.
Not as a head coach.
Not as a head coach.
Said, yeah.
No, but putting in the work.
Correct.
Putting in the work.
You got to start somewhere.
And getting a holistic kind of holistic.
The fact that you just used the word holistic. 2022 is going to be a big year.
I might drop that
big
later
year,
today in a conversation.
Yeah. No, but he was able to learn and coach at every different age group. So he's coming in, whether it's with Vegas to develop players or if it's for LAFC in the first team, he knows everything that goes into coaching at different age groups. And so if we're trying to get another Mamadou Fall this year, then we're going to get another Mamadou Fall this year. So I'm very, very, very excited.
Yeah.
I don't really know who I would have preferred. I didn't have a head coach in mind that I was like, yeah, we need Zidane or we need El Turco, but
He's available, both of them.
True.
I mean, did John ever interview him?
El Turco? No.
Zinedine Zidane.
Who knows? John did tell us there were some interesting calls from Europe.
Yeah, I heard some, which I don't get into it, but some folks, I was like, really? Some prominent names. But it was all done in due diligence.
Please, God, no.
Well, Jose Mourinho will be available probably in a few weeks.
Let's lean into some people's concerns a little bit. And you brought up the lights. That's one for people. And the fact that he hasn't been a head coach for very long now. For myself, let's start with the lights. The lights, we've been told.
We got to spell out what the lights were. It was a coaching job, but it wasn't.
You really want to spell what the lights were? It was a team without a home. Their home was actually based here, and they would travel. Even when they played home games,
untenable
traveling
situation.
To Vegas. They were training sometimes with a full group. Sometimes they would get some LAFC players sprinkled in. It's not a good way to have continuity, but, and Steve said this in his press conference, it is a way to kind of bleed youth and figure out who's got what, who's got the character. You got to do it the right way, but he definitely delineated between development and fully results-oriented, and Vegas was true development.
Can I say something really quick, which I just thought about? He knew, taking the Las Vegas Lights, based on what they were asking him, that wins and losses, it's not going to look good.
Yeah.
And he still took it. He knows full well this is not a situation you can go in and win, but he said, this is a great opportunity to get close to a club and a job that I would love to have, and develop young players, which is what I've done very well in Germany.
Well, for me, Vegas was poop on a field, on a soccer pitch.
And you were there.
And when I say that means llama dung on the field.
Yeah.
If for anyone that goes to Vegas Lights games.
You respect.
I don't think you'll be able to go to any more Vegas Lights games.
I wasn't talking about the playing.
No more llamas for you.
The players. I was talking about the literal,
the actual turd.
The literal turd.
Here's what I posited to people and what I'm curious about. Would you be concerned if a manager was given a young team that wasn't set up to win games and they didn't win games, or would you be more concerned if they said, hey, here's the keys to the Rolls Royce, and he crashes it? I would be much more concerned if he actually had a bad record and they were supposed to be a good team. That's just me, maybe.
So I guess we'll have to wait to see how he does for LAFC, because maybe LAFC is the Rolls Royce.
Well, look, any coaching hire is a risk, right?
Yeah.
Ask Roma. Jose Mourinho is one of the most decorated coaches. Ask Roma, ask Manchester United. Like, I understand the need of want for experience, and I think that takes you so far. But for me, this was the inspired hire, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, it just seems like they just gave their friend a job. No, this is a risk. This is a risk, but it's a risk that's calculated because he has spent the 7 years in Germany. He has a UEFA Pro license, which not a lot of MLS coaches can attest to. So if he doesn't have the experience, he has the UEFA A license. So this, to me, is the trend that we're seeing a lot of teams do, but in a smarter way. It's not, hey, Andrea Pirlo, you once played for Juventus. Here you go. No, this is Steve Cherundolo. You put in a lot of work. You also happen to be one of the most decorated U.S. national team players of all time and one of the most decorated American player to go to Europe of all time. You put those two together, maybe now is the right time, and we'll find out.
I'll ask you to both of this, and I think I asked you earlier via text. If Las Vegas Lights didn't happen, and Steve Cherundolo, 2019, was coaching the German under-15s in the Federation. Let's say last year he was an assistant at a Bundesliga 1 club, and he got the job. Would it be received differently?
100%.
It probably would, 100%. Right?
I think
it's the record. It's what's
You'd
on.
say, wait, he's coming from here. He's got the UEFA Pro license. He's a player for 15 years. He's coached in Germany for 7.
Steve won't admit it, but they'll both understand that this maybe came a little quicker than they thought it was going to happen. And I still think that they went through their due diligence to go through the process. Steve told us in our interview that we're going to have with him later what that process was like and what it takes. But if you would ask them privately, they'd probably say, if we could have had him here, the one upside is he's here. He knows the team. He knows the structure.
And that's the benefit of Las Vegas.
That's the benefit. But I think they would say for the PR win, Connor, for the PR win.
For the PR win. It's all about PR.
They would have loved if he would have been a little bit of a mystery figure coming from Germany. Yeah. Could have gotten maybe a little bit more excited. But I'm still excited.
But I will say, like, most of the time, like when Bob came on board, like everyone generally for the beginning years of LAFC was very optimistic because we were playing good. But now...
But you have to be pumped with that announcement. Bob Bradley's your first coach.
In a way, I'm kind of excited that someone like Cherundolo has something to prove. You know what I mean? He's kind of like, fans are not receiving it too well, but he's going to be like, all right, well, we got to change their opinions by what happens on the field, and maybe that's good.
And the lack of head coaching experience, it is a concern. It's a concern. But whoever came in here, if it was Turco Mohamed, we're not saying he was a candidate. If it was Jose Mourinho, it's a risk anyway because it's a unique league in the way they do things.
Well, and a coach with a history doesn't usually change his spots, right? And that's a bad mixed metaphor there for you. But a coach with a history, you're not likely to get, because like you said, this is a unique league. Like Tata Martino came here and he was able to kind of figure it out on the fly. But other than that, it's American managers. It's guys that know the setup. It's guys that understand the limitations.
Ronnie Deila is another one.
Ronnie Deila is
but
now
these are
the new one to add to that list. But you still have a Matias Almeida that's saying, he's saying, I'm getting it. I figured it out. I understand what we're supposed to do here. And then literally,
we got one more year.
And then literally turns around and goes, give me that guy, this guy from Mexico. Let's go the route that I was always going to go down. So these bigger names with experience don't always learn the lesson.
It's here, and we'll talk more about it, certainly with Steve Cherundolo. The process of being here is a huge plus, and now we got to check out everyone wants to know about players. Everyone wants to know who's going to come here. There's been 2 additions, Franco Escobar.
That's the other very important thing to this.
But the process, and a question was asked at the press conference, have you spoken to Carlos Vela, who's going to be out of contract in the summer? And we've had two questions sent to us or asked of Steve Cherundolo, and based on them, these conversations with Carlos Vela are very positive, and I think that's going to continue. And you're going to see these conversations with certain players and how they're going to do. The Brian Rodriguez conversation's another one, and how Steve Cherundolo will win them over, for lack of a better expression.
I think that speaks to Steve. That's probably.
But I think that's a benefit.
That's the one thing we haven't touched on yet. Is the biggest change, and this is nothing against Bob Bradley, but Steve Cherundolo and Bob Bradley's personalities are very diametrically different. Bob is a guy that does not turn off. Football all the time. He will wear you out. And over 4 years, he probably wore a couple people out, for better or worse. And Bob has said, that's me. That's just the way I work. I have to be this way, and I want players that are that way. That's why sometimes players come and go a little bit easier with Bob. Steve even said in his press conference, it's about personality. They're people first.
It's person first, player second.
Person first, player second. And I think we will see some of the benefits of the personality change, especially for a younger group. I feel like I've now gone to ESPN and like Mike Ditka, where it's like, oh, these guys are soft. They can't take it anymore. Look, this is just the way the modern player is. And I think you have to understand them more and you have to relate to them a little more. I think it works in a short burst, like with Bob in 2019. Everyone was on board. Didn't matter. We are all football all the time. But when results start to go wrong, maybe it helps to have that lighter touch.
I like he said laugh. He said out of all the things he wants a player to do during their day of training, one of them is laugh.
Yeah.
I like laughing. It makes me have more fun and want to work.
You need a good cry every now and then too in the game.
I need
just let
not,
that
not, not just a cry. I need a good hug once in a while.
Yeah, hug.
You know what I mean?
Arm around a player. Why not? Dude, did you guys hug? Yeah, just get. Good form.
felt really good.
Yeah, that felt good.
I felt like I actually felt like Connor went into that very like not sure, and then eventually gave in and was like, yeah. That's
I
good.
think Connor's more of a Bob guy. He wants to be on his toes. Yep. There he goes.
I mean, Connor is technically my boss, and I can tell you, there's been some.
You have to lay the law.
I go
down.
home some nights and just bawl my eyes out. He's hard on me, man.
The ruler on the wrist.
Can you recreate one of these?
He goes. He calls me up and goes, "Been perusing your Twitter."
Yeah.
And immediately I start with the excuses.
And then
my heart would
and
go
then-
into my throat if
and-
someone started a conversation with that.
And he's silent. He's silent. He lets me kind of get it out, and then goes,
just not again.
"Just stop," and hangs up. Doesn't even say bye.
Wow, taskmaster.
I just don't want to say it again.
But these
Yeah. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
These conversations can be had. I'm confident Steve's going to, at least at these early stages, you're going to have this conversation. This is going to be exciting. He's going to get you. And they'll say, like, oh, and why? Who are you? And he goes, well, look what I've done. And that is, whether it's an MLS guy, whether it's a European-based player, whether it's a South America, you have to respect that because German football is the hottest thing going right now. It is Derek Zoolander.
Thomas Tuchel, Jurgen Klopp. I mean, it's
Ralph Rangnick, who's coaching the big. It's not going well, but it's the
Ralph Hasenhüttl, Eric.
Hasenhüttl's Austrian, I believe. Is it? I'm sorry to ruin.
No, I believe he's German. But Eric Ten Hag, who at Ajax playing great, a German guy that eventually I will be at Bayern Munich. Hansi Flick.
Julian Nagelsmann.
Yeah.
So there's something going on in Germany that is developing the hottest names in coaching. You look at Tuchel, he's Austrian. Thank you very much. Just want to correct. Austria, basically
Same
Germany,
difference
same thing. It's the same
for our
country.
Austrian listeners.
We go back to Prussia and all. Sorry, I just do not.
Yeah.
Prussia, disregard that. I don't want to get any people bent up, but that's going to go a long way, and I think people are going to want to play for this guy. People are going to want to say, would you, if someone gave you his resume, and this is what I've done, I go, you coached here and there, you'd be pretty pumped.
Yeah, it's impressive.
For a guy without a ton of head coaching experience, this is the type of guy you want to hand it to. Again, he's not fresh out of playing and just kind of like, I kind of putted around and kind of checked some things out. No, he got his coach. He got his coaching license, and then, like he said in his press conference, started with the U14s, putting out jerseys for kids. Like, he went the rungs of the ladder that you want. So I understand that people want to see a resume of a coach at a top level, but in terms of work, he's put in the work. And there's something to be said for work because, look, your resume is your resume, but that's past. Let's talk about what Steve's going to do in the future, and he's put in the work to at least get the benefit of the doubt that he is deserving of this. Now, what happens on the pitch is eventually how we'll finally call it, but you got to say that this hire was made with due diligence and knowing the background is there.
Let's play a quick game of German or Austrian.
Got it. Let's go.
All right. No, I'm not going to start off with there.
Not going to say what Jason just said in our ear.
The Scorpions, German or Austrian?
Neither.
Incorrect.
German.
Schnitzel.
German.
It's got to be Austrian, right?
Correct. You're 0 for 2. I'm going to give you one more. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, you got to know this one.
German. I don't know.
Austrian.
I don't know. Okay, most of these references are also not in my age group.
He goes, I'm not that old.
Yeah.
What's an Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Oh, no, come on.
I'm
Now,
kidding.
come on.
Relax. Okay, I'm in California. I get
California,
He was my governor.
I get it. Well, speaking of Germany, look at this segue. Speaking of Germany, there's been some big moves in MLS. One being a player going to Germany for a record fee.
Oh.
I know you really want to talk about this, Max.
Yes,
That's
I do.
why I'm segueing this.
It's exciting because, look,
this
is
exciting.
a pod for
Tell us
Major
why.
League Soccer, and there's a connection to LAFC because with Steve Cherundolo here, the development of young players is going to be paramount, and he has said it as much. We have 3 players from the academy that started from the beginning. They're all 17. Tony Leone and Christian Torres played for the Mexican under-20s. Eric Duenas was injured, but we know what he's capable of.
He probably would have been called up by the next.
He probably would have. Mamadou Fall, basically, he's not an academy player. But we've seen what FC Dallas is, and that's what they want to do for LAFC. Everyone wants to be FC Dallas.
Well, except for the results.
Everyone wants to have an FC Dallas academy.
Yes.
Better.
Thank you, guys. Where would I be without you?
Yes. Everyone wants to have that feather in their cap.
So European clubs have more and more eyes are turning. It was one set of eyes, and it turned 10, and now it's hundreds. And they all go in here and go, let's go to the United States and get a good deal. Nickels, pennies on the dollar, kind of. We'll give you $50 for that guy.
Yeah, let him come train here, and then we'll see what happens.
And then more and more players. Alphonso Davies was like $11 million. That has grown. Alphonso Davies is worth $80 million now, just so the record.
Alphonso Davies is such a steal now.
Yeah, in retrospect.
No more steals in MLS. And the LAFC's academy might be coming at the right time. And look, they've developed South American players. South American players involved. Valentin Castellanos essentially won. He's going to go for a big fee. But
maybe
we were expecting maybe 5-10 million. Augsburg said, we want him. $20 million.
Augsburg, 1 point out of the relegation playoff, and is spending $20 million.
They're putting.
I wonder what you could do with that money instead of getting Ricardo Pepi.
Probably do a lot because their next two biggest transfers are equal what Pepi is. Are you familiar with poker? Have you played some poker? Yeah, you played a little.
Yeah.
No?
Come on now.
It's getting all those chips and putting them in. Say we're banking on this guy.
Basically, I mean, I kind of like that because he's going to play, and and some people are like, well, it might be too much pressure. I mean, he's going to Europe. The pressure's going to be there anyway, so might as well just say, hey, you're our guy. We need goals. Look where we're at. We need goals. You're going to play. Let's go. I mean, even if they go down, it's not bad. It's not too bad of a thing. But that marker, like Max, I think that's a Max Bretos turn.
Lay down
that marker.
I wanted to talk about Daryl Dike going to West Brom, and I was excited, but you're poo-pooing that one.
Yeah.
Llama pooing it.
It's West Brom. Like when he went to Barnsley, it wasn't that good. Like he scored a couple goals, then he went back to Orlando.
He didn't just score a couple goals for Barnsley.
He was like Barnsley.
He was on fire.
He went back to Orlando.
Barnsley is garbage to watch. West Brom is a little bit better to watch.
I watched the championship, maybe not the best of the championship.
Yeah. You've been to a few championship
Quite
games,
often.
I'm sure.
It's not that good.
No.
Like it really isn't.
Top of the top is very good, but the rest is mediocre at best.
It's good for PR. That's all it's good for.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, would I have liked a DK? Would I have liked a Pepi to go to a bigger club? Yeah. But would they do well at a bigger club? Probably not. So I'm content with it.
Here's a game, bigger club. Fenerbahce, Augsburg, West Brom.
Fenerbahce.
100%.
Yeah.
Europa League.
Everyone that's listening to this is screaming probably West Brom.
Guys.
No one's saying Augsburg.
Guys.
No one's saying Augsburg, so they don't. Augsburg, Munich? Is it in
That's
Munich?
Bavaria. Yeah, close to Munich.
Well, it's a good spot.
Road trip.
Spell
Road trip.
Augsburg.
Another road trip. No, I'm not spelling out.
Oktoberfest. They have a date with Augsburg?
We have to go to Palmeiras. We have to go to Augsburg. We've got a lot of places to travel to.
What are we going to do?
Road trip?
You're coming,
Road trip.
You're coming,
Yeah,
right?
you're coming with us, right?
Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
So I'm excited. Let's go. It's
it is exciting,
January. Okay, let's.
By the way, we haven't talked about what's coming to MLS.
Coming to LA. Oh, Lorenzo Insigne. So, is it what 12 million a year?
Canada.
Look, if there's an athlete of the year for Time magazine, I know there's no such thing as magazines. You know what a magazine is?
A what? Spell
I don't know what a magazine is.
What?
Those things are so
Is
outdated.
it on social media?
What's the origin of that word?
A magazine is
It's probably Greek.
So it's made out of paper, and you flip the pages and read stuff, and then you flip the next page. But if there was a front runner for athlete of the year in any sport, to me it's Lorenzo Insigne. He stays in Italy to June, then he probably doesn't jeopardize his spot in the World Cup if Italy makes the World Cup.
How dare you?
If so, it's
Big
a
if.
calculated risk.
Big if.
Whether they make it or not, at the end of that, he rolls into $60 million in Toronto, coached by Bob Bradley.
None other than
Yeah.
Bob Bradley.
Are you guys excited? But I get pumped up for the superstar coming to MLS, whether it's LAFC. It's pretty good.
I'm a casual
Or a
Toronto
borderline
FC fan.
TFC fan.
So I'm pumped. I'm
Right.
pumped. This is like Giovinco on steroids.
Well, you want teams to keep getting better, right? So Toronto had the worst.
You can
one
be
of
a
the worst-
Toronto FC fan because that's home.
Yeah. So I guess that makes sense.
But they went from having one of their worst years in their history, and they could have honestly just looked at it and said, like, we still have Pozuelo, we still could keep Soteldo and probably run it back. But they said, no, get rid of Soteldo. He's not training well. He's not fitting in well here. And let's one-up it and get the biggest transfer in MLS history. You have to say it probably is.
I will say I thought Giovinco was short. Soteldo, small, man.
That
I
back
saw him
and forth didn't
play
go well.
in person.
They do seem to like the short guys.
And he likes to hike up his shorts.
It was
Soteldo.
a sight to see him sending a free kick to Omar Gonzalez to score because the sheer height difference between the
One
two.
of 4 goals they scored all year.
Oh my God.
Yeah, probably.
And that was the same play for each 4 goals.
Yes. Canadian trivia really quickly. In Los Angeles, our airport's called LAX. What's the Toronto airport called?
Toronto Pearson.
No, like the little abbreviation.
Oh, the call sign. What are the
Call sign. LAX, MIA,
I don't know.
BDL,
TFC?
DFW,
I don't know.
YYZ.
Oh.
YYZ.
How'd they get that one? They was like the last in line. They're like, here, you get YYZ.
YYZ.
Whoa, come on.
And Rush, you're not familiar with Rush. Rush, the power trio from Toronto, they have a song called YYZ because they always love singing it.
Nerd.
Okay, my bad. What do you guys, now we're here. We got a marker.
Yep.
Our coach is in place.
Well, let's
Season's
flip it back
gonna
to
start.
let's flip it back to LAFC. So we got Insigne coming in, and we keep getting told
There's
That's-
going
What
to
would you
be
want to see?
that we're on the
something.
verge.
Pie in the sky. I mean, it could be a position.
A DP.
DP for sure.
We're-
They've said they're going to get a DP.
And now, not summer. And there could be the
No, I
availability
mean-
of one in summer as well, right?
Yeah.
But they said they're going to get one now. I mean, I wouldn't mind a DP in the Atuesta role, but it seems like if you can find an Atuesta, you can probably find another one that is a TAM type
Yeah.
guy. It always goes to attackers. You get attackers, maybe a guy that can score some goals from midfield, but attackers are where the DP money's really at. I mean, Lorenzo
have
Insigne
to.
is an attacker, DP money.
Goalkeeper is going to
Not
be
a DP goalkeeper.
No, I'm saying a
Ever.
DP.
DP goalkeeper.
But something they're going to pursue, and they've talked about it. And he was talking to John and
John
Steve
said-
to a lesser degree. He goes, we know that we have to, and they kind of cleared the goalkeeping slate.
He said 3 to 4 signings, and we know for sure that one's probably going to be a DP.
One's
we
gonna
know
be
for
a-
sure one's going to be a goalkeeper.
so
maybe
we know two.
So
And
then
one's
we're-
going to be an Atuesta.
Yeah, there's gonna be some
replacement.
midfielders.
So there's definitely 3, 4.
And I think
I feel like
maybe
there's
a fifth.
almost definitely 4, but
I think another
to get
defender-
over 4 because of the roster, they'll have to send guys out.
another defender, even though they got Franco Escobar. Remember, they have 2 players in already, and I think
Yeah, we haven't talked about Franco Escobar and Ismael Tesori-Shroudy. Like these are
I think
very
those are
good players.
good moves.
savvy moves. We say goodbye to Bryce Duke, Tristan Blackman. Look at you.
Hashtag see ya.
They're good dudes.
They're good dudes,
We
and I
enjoyed
think
having
they
them
both.
on the podcast. I thought they still both have potential. They have a lot to offer, but that's why that's why teams wanted them.
You know what? Cherundolo mentioned in the press conference they want teams with personality. Some of the players we've let go did have a little personality on that field.
From what
So
we're hearing about Franco Escobar is he has a lot of personality
Yeah.
and a lot of grit.
And your dad was a huge Tristan Blackman fan.
my little sister was.
They always go swaggy T.
Yeah, no, my little
number
sister
one fan of Bryce Duke
and Tristan Blackman. No, like my
Oh,
little sister Campbell has
inconsolable
Gotta be
right now.
devastated.
huge crushes on both of them.
Have you told
And
her
they
yet?
both left. Yeah, I told her.
How'd it go?
She burned the jersey. No, I'm kidding.
No
One of those-
burning.
I
Very
hate,
toxic.
I hate those videos, by the way. Stop when people leave burning their jerseys.
Yeah.
Just donate it. Don't, come on.
He was kidding though.
No, I know he was kidding.
By the
People
way,
would never do
tell
that.
her
Was
this.
I?
Tell her this. I think they're both in positions where they can excel, where they can
course.
play in a position they want, and they can make some money in their careers.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all want the best for them, and where they are, they'll do well.
Yeah, well, we keep saying, like, man, when LAFC does trade guys, they send them to decent places. I
Great
mean,
cities.
Miami, yeah, like good cities. Nashville.
Vancouver's cold, but still good.
Nashville, if he would have gone to Charlotte, but he goes to Vancouver, I think they already knew that was kind of what was going to happen.
Istanbul, Sao Paulo.
Yeah, they get
sorting
sent to
out-
great
Yeah.
cities. We're not sending guys to Cincinnati.
Augsburg.
Everyone was
My
thinking
apologies,
it. Everyone was
Cincinnati.
thinking it.
All right.
We're not sending guys to Frisco, Texas.
Yeah.
Tell me
Yeah.
what team plays in Frisco, Texas. We know that, but a lot of people don't know that FC Dallas is actually in Frisco, Texas.
Frisco, the armpit of America.
Not true. Not true. It is one of the growing places. Businesses
but
are going there.
but-
I wouldn't want to live there.
My significant other is from there. It's growing with like box stores and just like corporate BS.
Okay. I think
Go to the Chick-fil-A.
I think we covered all the ground. We could keep yapping. We
Sure.
have a real special guest coming up.
We
so
do.
should
Everyone
pass it.
everyone is like, please get to the guest. I'm so sick of fast forwarding through this.
No, they're not. They're enjoying the trivia, and we'll have more trivia for you. German or Austrian?
I think German or Austrian could catch on. That's a segment. Mark that down. Jason.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. German or Austrian is the greatest game show since
No,
Family Feud.
no.
Without the accents.
Yeah. I just saw Twins with Danny DeVito and all. Very good movie.
Aren't they remaking Twins?
I hope not.
Supposedly they are.
Leave the classics.
Jonah Hill and Shaq. That's who they should do it with.
Remember they're going to do Roadhouse with Ronda
Great.
Rousey, and then
Would you
common
pay for
sense
that?
prevailed.
Would you pay for a remake of Twins with Jonah Hill and Shaq?
I probably would watch that.
Yeah,
I probably
come
would
on,
watch
yeah,
that.
come on, you do it.
This is Inside LAFC, the Max and Vids podcast with special guests, Connor Kalopsis.
I'll head out now to make room.
Yeah, we gotta make room.
We
We need you,
for
the big guy.
boss, but thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
Don't leave
I'll
right
be
now.
around.
Let me do my quick sign off, and then we'll be right back with the head coach, the new head coach of LAFC, Steve Cherundolo. We are back. As promised, we are honored to be joined by the second head coach in LAFC history. How does that sound?
Pretty incredible.
Pretty incredible.
The honor's all mine.
Obviously filling the shoes of Bob Bradley, and that's part of what we're going to talk here as we welcome in Steve Cherundolo. And Steve, I'll just start because you just had the
So
press
professional.
conference.
Can I just say, Steve, now that you're here, you've done all the hard work. This is going to be
Yes.
easy.
First of all, I want to say that you've been on here twice, so you get like some parting gifts. So
He
we'll
was
have
on our 100th episode. Just a reminder, everybody,
You're-
if you show up and you appreciate Max and Vince and you congratulate us, your career, boop.
your MVP podcast royalty. But it's you've been positioning yourself for this, and if people don't know, after your playing career, started coaching at Hanover, at Stuttgart, the German Federation, which goes without really having to sell or anything. So you had in mind to take over a head coaching job here. You came back to the States, and this was the one that you identified. Why?
Well, I visited LAFC in 2019. I was in LA and connected with John and said, hey, let me just check it out. It looks amazing. I'm watching the games, incredible, but we all knew that Bob was able to put his footprint on everything and was able to create an attractive style of play. But then I came and visited the PC, the training facility, and then the stadium, and I was flabbergasted. I said, okay, I need to be a part of this, but I have some things I need to do in Germany. I need to continue preparation. I need to continue my licenses. And when I was finished with that, John had called a number of times. I said, I'm not ready. And then he called last year, and I said, I think I'm ready. Let's do this. And the rest is history.
Can you pull back the curtain a little bit? Because John keeps referencing the exhaustive process. Here we are now in 2022. A lot of fans would have wanted this hire to be made sooner. Some would complain if it was made too soon. But for that reason, like, how does the interview process go? Not a lot of us are going to ever get to be a part of that type of process. So what, like, you're sitting down with John and it's over multiple days. What kind of things are you preparing for him? Or does he ask you to prepare anything? How does it go?
Well, it's multiple interviews. And part of the coaching courses is you learn to go through that process. Oh. And so every organization has its own progress. So you never know who you're speaking to or how you're going to present it. And so you have to prepare in all ways, and that's what I did. I was prepared for anything the owners and John and anybody involved in the process threw my way, and apparently it worked.
Are you like multiple thumb drives? Are you a dossier guy? Like, what did you bring in a big folder? What's the Steve Cherundolo move?
It's all digital. So,
okay, nice. With modern times, I like it.
Yeah, I have
Very
my
German.
laptop. I have my laptop, and I have everything on there, a few external hard drives, and then I'm ready to go. I've been gathering information and pictures and graphs and presentations throughout my career. I kept a journal as a player in writing about coaches I had, what they did well, what they did not do so well, and have put all that together into my own philosophy now and ready to make it work.
The journal seems kind of common, like, of modern players now. Like, we hear about a lot of modern players that are even still playing, doing the journal. Was that your own idea? Did anybody spur you to do that?
No, it wasn't. I don't know why I did it. I just probably a lot of time on the plane, traveling back and forth from Europe to the United States.
Just pen to paper.
No, it was at first, but then I put it into my laptop. And then one of my journals early on in my career got stolen. Our house got broken into. I was really bummed about that.
They took your journal?
I know. I think they did it on
That's
accident.
harsh,
I think they did it on accident. It was in a bag, and they just took the bag.
That's going to be very valuable at some point if you're
how
watching
disappointed
this.
were they? They were like, oh, man, training drills from Germany.
This guy's boring. No. And I started again, and it's fun to go back and read how I thought about the game back then and how things have evolved. But there were some important lessons from coaches I had back in those days that I'm still using now.
You mentioned your philosophy, and obviously that's pretty extensive, but it's aligned here, obviously, with LAFC, and we spoke to John Thorrington, and he mentioned how those two kind of immersed together, and the lines got blurred. Give us an idea of what that philosophy is and those things that you're going to lean into once you start really taking the reins of this club.
Well, attacking minded, wanting to score goals is the first decision you make when you create a philosophy. You're either with the ball or without the ball, and that's an easy one. And then you go into even more detail. So you just go down level to level to level. How detailed do you want this philosophy to be? But for sure, we are attacking minded. We want the ball. We want to dictate plays. We want to be proactive in everything we do, even without the ball. We want to be smart, and we want to be well balanced. And that is in 2 sentences, a 60-page document summed up.
60-page document. I'd like to get my hands on that.
Light reading.
It's in German, so I don't know if you.
All right.
We should brush up on our German.
There's lots of pictures, though.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, in putting that philosophy together, and one of the things that some people kind of in this process didn't understand was how the team is making moves when they don't have a coach. Obviously, now that we know it's you were there during this process, but you understand the consensus that LAFC puts together between data, scouts, coaching, John, everybody comes together. But with that in mind, the Steve Cherundolo philosophy, what does the player have to look like? What is the profile? What do they have to have? I know a lot of the guys on the team already have this profile, which is why you were chosen. But for these new guys coming in, what do they have to play your style of game?
Character, heart, effort go a long way. Every day in the training field, what I will influence on the players, and I will ask of them, I will ask them to sweat, I will ask them to communicate, and I will ask them to laugh. I think those are 3 very important components on a daily basis. And if we can achieve that, then we will all continue to grow and to get better and win games. But first and foremost, players who do not play with passion and give it their all and strive to get better truly daily will have a hard time with me.
I want to add this really quickly.
I felt that.
I felt it, dude. That's fantastic.
I felt like he was talking to us too as well.
Good question on your part. He's getting good at this interview thing.
That's what I do.
We mentioned the German Federation. You were with the under-15s, and I was listening to an interview of yours, and you were saying
in German.
It was not in German, but it was the development of the players is almost paramount over winning games because that really helps the players in a big way, which can lead to winning. You've had that experience. LAFC is an interesting situation now. That first group of academy players are 17. They're coming up. You saw the development of Mamadou Fall at Las Vegas Lights. The importance of that and how to identify when a player is going through that process so that they can become a Ricardo Pepi or a player that becomes a valuable asset or a great player for LAFC moving forward.
Yeah, those are. It takes a while to learn how to do it, and I think there's the tactical side of things, there's the training methodology, but there's also recognizing what qualities in a player can correlate into something later to affect this group. And with Mamadou Fall, it was very clear when we had him from day one. Okay, this kid has something special. He has the physical attributes. He also has a wonderful personality and has natural-born leadership skills. And if we can hone all of that and get him focused and concentrate on the right things, then he can add to this already. And he did in a very short amount of time. So we're very grateful to see that and happy to see that. But I think one of the biggest qualities I look for when I look at younger talents is their ability to learn. So the jump from the youth team to a reserve team and then from a reserve team to a first team is much bigger than people expect. And so your ability to learn a lot of information in a short amount of time is imperative if you want to make it in this business.
You've said a lot of things about young players and how important it's been for them to have personality. You've talked a little bit about the 32-52 and just the general atmosphere in this stadium. But one thing that you pointed out, and look, this team has a great connection already with the 32-52 and with its city, but you said we even want to move just a little bit closer from yourself personally and even the player. So, how do you envision that from your side, moving that a little bit closer to the, success on the pitch is one thing, but moving a little bit closer to the fans in the stands?
As much as we can in this day and age, in this COVID day and age, make ourselves more available to the fans. And you can go a long way too with and this has been done in the past as well, and we'll continue this, playing with passion and throwing everything you have out there on the field, every single game, every minute. If you're playing a minute or 90 minutes, fans need to see that you are giving your absolute 100%. And along the way, communication, open dialogue is also extremely important. And so creating also accountability is something that is the side effect of communicating with the fans and letting them know, hey, we're here, we care about your needs and wants, let us know what's going on, this is me, and that's that.
You're a big part of it, the supporters of LAFC, your new head coach, Steve Cherundolo.
But are you wrapping up?
I'm wrapping up.
Wait, can I just do one fun question?
Yes, one fun question.
Because when I see Steve Cherundolo, and Max and I
he's a very busy man.
I know he is, and I know he has to be somewhere
He wants to
very
answer
important,
a fun question.
But just a fun question. He's ready to go. I had a conversation with Max because I knew he was emceeing, and I was like, Max, what are you gonna wear? Do you have to be all suited up? Because like if you have to be, then I have to like bring it. Now, what played in my head was I saw Steve Cherundolo, and I thought of the man in his, I believe it's in your sister's backyard on a ramp in his Vans. And I was like, is Steve gonna wear Vans? And I was like, if he's gonna wear Vans, maybe I should do it as like a tip to the cap to him. But instead I came suited and booted. But I still feel like I made a mistake. Steve, should I have been a little more casual? And will we see you as the casual manager on the sideline, or will you be suited and booted?
I do not think I'll be suited and booted, but you guys look great. It's very important to me to be authentic. I am who I am. Yes, I love Vans. I love some Rod Lavers as well. So I am going to be who I am, and what you see now is what you will get, and I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah, we're going to see you catching some waves with Thorrington here pretty soon as well, and it'll be a full circle to You can take the kid out of Southern California.
Those are good meetings. Good meetings between coach and GM. I'll tell you that.
Get a lot accomplished in the water. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. We appreciate you. We got the bonus question in there, and to make sure. Look, we are back. We got a head coach. The season is officially underway. We'll be here on Inside LAFC, the Max Events podcast. Please rate, review, download, subscribe. You know the drill, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, yes! They knocked on the door.